I just got done interviewing amazing Andrea, which you are about to listen to. This was such an incredible, fun episode. And we spoke about scaling. We spoke about the importance of being able to have systems in place for your business. And if you are someone who has been waiting to put systems in place for your business because you're a visionary and you don't like to deal with that shit, you need to listen to this episode. I'm not even kidding. This was such a powerful episode. And I've listened to so many things about systems and scaling. And I might be a little biased, but this really is one of my favorite episodes I've ever heard. And there's so many incredible actionable tips that Andrea gave for us. And it was, oh my gosh, you guys, I really, really cannot wait for you to hear the incredible essence of everything that we just talked about. And I know that you will be able to leave this episode with the feeling that you can really develop your own systems and strategy in order to scale, in order to have more freedom for yourself, in order to live in your biggest gifts so you can actually share your biggest gifts, because it really is your responsibility to have incredible systems in place. If you don't right now, it is your responsibility in this moment. I don't care where you are at your business, you need systems. So a little bit about Andrea. She is a renowned business coach and scaling strategist dedicated to solopreneurs. Her professional trajectory has seen her transition from roles as a therapist and a nurse, eventually pursuing her aspirations for liberty by stepping into the entrepreneurial realm in 2019. Remarkably, she matched her over $70,000 9-to-5 earnings within a mere 5 months as a virtual assistant. I can't even imagine how much work that was, just being a virtual assistant and then replacing that type of income. Her business acumen quickly led her to evolve into a virtual assistant agency, later becoming a certified online business manager. Today, as a scaling strategist and business coach, Andrea thrives on guiding solopreneurs to upscale their ventures mindfully and aligned, ensuring that their business nourishes their life rather than the opposite. Outside of her professional pursuits, Andrea is navigating her fresh chapter in Spain, having relocated from Miami in 2022. Between teaching her dog Spanish commands, embarking on numerous travel escapades, and indulging in Pilates and yoga, Andrea remains an emblem of balance and dynamicism. So excited for you guys to listen to this episode. Get ready. Welcome, visionaries and revolutionaries, to the Aligned Empire podcast, your gateway to building a movement of change, wealth, and impact. I'm your host, Drea Brown. This podcast is for the visionary woman who is ready to master the energetic frequencies of money, business, and herself, and is ready to expand into a frequency, life, and empire that mirrors her highest purpose. Together, we are rising up and reshaping the world as we know it, defying limitations and boldly embodying our highest selves. You're not just listening to another podcast. You're embarking on an epic journey. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Aligned Empire podcast. I am super excited to share with you this amazing person that I met, and she's actually living in Spain. So Andrea, where in Spain are you living right now?
I am in Malaga, so it's in southern Spain in Andalusia.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, I've definitely heard things about Lucia. Well, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to have you. So I would love to hear your journey into just the world of business scaling and teams, systems, and how you got started with it.
Yeah, let's go. We're going to go way back in the time machine, back to 2019. So my whole goal, I was, working as a regular person in 2019. I was a nurse and wanting to have freedom and really wanting to be location independent, living in Miami at the time. And I scoured the internet, all corners of the internet. And I started this journey, believe it or not, as a virtual assistant, doing all the things, very general, because I knew nothing. I had zero background in any of it. And for me, the best way to really figure out what I really love is to do and to really have experiences. So that is what I did. I had all the experiences. I accidentally, as I was scaling, I accidentally created a VA agency. Wasn't really into that, so I burned that to the ground. And then I discovered this online business manager. And I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting to me. This is something about higher level, there's strategy, there's systems. My brain is both equal parts flowy and feminine and very like, let me put my color coded ducks in a row. So it really appealed to me. And I just really dove into that role. And really then from working as a OBM, helping these 6 and 7 figure businesses with their management, with their tasks, with their teams, with their launches, all of this stuff. So really doing all of the things to really get the day-to-day of the businesses running and flowing and efficient and all of this. The pieces that really, really, really stuck with me were the strategy. I really love the strategy. And so that's what I was focusing in on more and more is really the strategy piece of how do we scale these businesses? How do we grow them? And how do we do so it is intentional and not like squirrel, doing all of the things and having all of the ideas and how do we figure out, how do we act on? Which idea do we go towards? How long do we spend on it? What's going to be the most, the best idea? All of these things. So I really saw this with a lot of my clients. A lot of these CEO visionaries that I'm sure in your audience love to do all the things, right? Like visionary people are like, let's do all of this. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this, right? I see you nodding your head,
Oh yeah, totally.
So how do we do all of that, right? But do it in an aligned way where it feels good. And so really that's kind of how I got to where I am. I really found the thing that I really love and latched onto that. And I do it through strategy and through systems and processes and all of that.
Amazing. And it sounds like alignment is huge for you.
Yeah.
And I would imagine it's because you have burned several things to the ground, just like me. I know that's like what we resonate with together.
Yes.
It's like, this isn't working. Let's burn it. Let's move on. So
yes.
As far as alignment goes, how would you define alignment, business alignment?
For me, that's such a good question. Alignment is really like what lights you up. And so it's a combination of a few things, right? Like I love doing this and I'm good at it, right? I have a talent and it's easy, quote unquote, for me. And it fits into my lifestyle and this dream life that I'm creating for myself. That piece I think is really, really important because I think this is a piece that a lot of people kind of put on the back burner where it's like, oh, I can grow, I can scale, I can do this, I can do that. But this is going to require me to whatever this thing, but that's not actually how I want to live my life. So it's a really important piece for me to point out to my clients to really like kind of have them embody this.
As you scale.
As you scale, yes.
Yeah, as you scale. It's funny. I literally just talked to one of my clients yesterday about this specific thing. She's like, I don't know if I need to do webinars. I don't know if I need to do this and that and this and all this copy and all this different things. And it's like, start with the end goal. What are you trying to build?
Yes.
In 5 years, what type of business do you want? Do you really want a bunch of one-on-one clients and only working with one-on-one clients? Or, do you want something else? And it's okay if you want one-on-one clients, but it's like, what do you want?
Right, exactly. What do you want your day to look like? What do you want your business to look like? What actually lights you up? Not just what is the thing that's going to make me the most money the fastest. Because if it's not in alignment, then it's not going to be sustainable.
Absolutely. So how do you take your clients through helping them feel aligned as they scale? Like what's the step-by-step process?
Yeah, like really, really digging in and asking them these questions. So generally, we'll make a 90-day plan. And in this 90-day plan, it really is, where are you now? Where do you want to be? And what are the steps that we need to get there? So what do we have to do for the next 3 months? And I break this down, of course, by the month, by the week, etc. So we get there. And here's the key, we get to change it. So I'll give you an example. There is a client that I have currently who just recently had a baby. And when we met and we did this 90-day plan, and I said, okay, we can do this and that. This is my vision, etc. And so we've been working together for about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. And she said, I love all of this. I really want to do this, but I can't do it now. I have become really overwhelmed and I don't have time in my day. And really what I want to focus on right now is removing myself as much as I can from the daily operations of the business. So sometimes we really have to live and go through some of these things and to realize what it looks like and what's important to us. So we put a pause on all of that. We're going to return to it. And now our focus is let's systematize everything and automate and do as much as we can. So that way it is so smooth for her. And she has a space in her day to focus on the baby, to do her day-to-day life and really have this business be both successful and fit into the life that she has now.
It's just so, so important. And I think you said it perfectly. Most people don't think about it when they scale because we get into this business mindset, we get into this business world, and it's all about, the 7-figure club or just all of this, the 2 comma club or whatever it is.
Right.
And it's all this stuff. And it never does anyone say, it's like, what are we actually doing here? What's our goal? Why?
Yeah.
Why
do I want to be in this club? Like, there's no end, right? Like, but there's no end. There's literally no end. So what are we doing? So like, let's be intentional about this. And maybe this, you have this dream and you have to understand the why behind it. Like, why do I want to do this? And is that in alignment with my soul, with what I want? Right. And at the same time, if you're like, yes, I want to have this 7-figure business, all these employees, great, let's do it. Right. But what if you don't? That's okay too. Right. Like this is fine. What if you just want to have you and a VA and nothing else, and you can still have a multi-6-figure business with this in this way? So it really is like really diving deep and figuring out like the why behind why do I want these things?
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say is one of the best questions to help people uncover that why? Because I imagine that you come up against a lot of objections or resistances, and just I know even me, same. Like I just like with that client yesterday, like a little bit of resistance, like but it's like that money grab, right? They want the money, but they also want the lifestyle. So what are some questions that you help them uncover with that?
Yeah, really, like if you close your eyes and you visualize, what is my dream life? What does my life look like? What does my day-to-day look like? What do I want to be doing? And really focusing on that and actually visualizing it and picture it. And then we work backwards from that. We work backwards from your dream life, what you really want your life to be, and how can your business support that, as opposed to the other way around. A lot of people really put everything into their business and they fit their life around their business. And I encourage people to do the opposite.
I love that. I love that we're having this conversation because I named literally this podcast Aligned Empire because it's so aligned with what you're talking about and like who you are and how you run your business as well, because I have been so unaligned for so long. And for me, it almost feels like it's a balance of like, of course, strategy is so important. Like I completely believe in strategy. I completely believe in that part, but it's like going inside of yourself first, and then based on when you already have aligned with what you want and how you want your life to feel in the future, then make that decision into strategy. Like what strategy feels aligned with the feeling that you are trying to get into the future. Right. So I love everything you're saying is so important for all of this. So when you were talking about scaling and you're saying maybe some people don't need to scale, but what about the people that do want to scale? What would you say is like the right time for people to know? Because I do know that you can scale too fast. I do know that. I've done it before.
Yes.
Yeah, I really have done it before. And you come out with some not so happy clients because it's just been too fast, or employees. So how would you, when you take a look at someone's business, how do you know it is the right time to scale even further and they're ready to maybe put more offers or make their offer even more expanded?
This is really, it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know the word I'm looking for. Back up on that one. I can't think of, sometimes when you're, side note, when you're like learning another language, then you forget all the other words in the original language that you know, just so you know.
I do know. Yep. When I was learning Spanish, same thing happened with me. I was like, oh my God, yes.
What are these words? I don't know. Anyhow.
Yep. It's a good problem to have.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Not in this case.
Sometimes. Yeah. We're good. Hello, amazing, wonderful people. I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. And if you are, could you please share this with someone who you really, truly think needs it or would enjoy listening to these type of podcast episodes? It would really mean the world to us. Our team works so hard on these episodes, and we really try to provide the most value we possibly can for our listeners. So a few ways that you can share is take a screenshot of this episode and share it into Instagram. We would love to tag you in our stories. And a few other ways is sharing exactly what you loved about this episode and what truly made an impact in your life. And one last thing, if you are enjoying this podcast episode, if you could leave a review for us, that would be everything. It really does help our podcast, and it also helps other beautiful, wonderful people find our podcast as well. So thank you so much, and let's get back to the show.
How do we know when the right time to scale is? Honestly, I think the better question is the how, because there's so many different ways to quote unquote scale, right? So it could be changing your offer suite, it could be expanding, it could be hiring team members. So we're on a growth trajectory, and we are doing all of these things, and it's what is the pain point at that time. So it's really specific to what is really going on in your business at that time. Are you time poor? Right? So maybe if you're time poor, let's see what is the structure of your offers. Are there ways that we can restructure what's going on, tweak it so you have more time? Or is it all the back end things that go on to actually run your business? So in that case, maybe we need to hire another team member. Maybe we need to take some more things off of your plate. So it really has to do with what is going on in that moment in your business to see how can we really have it work better for you in your specific instance. So there's no cookie cutter way to do this, right? It's whatever is really aligned with what is going on and what's happening in your business. And in terms of the timing, it's really I would say it's up to you. Like, some people are very happy where they're at. Some people are like, I want to serve as many people as possible and share my magic to the world and etc. And let's do this thing. And I have encountered from A to Z, every level of this. So it really depends on how quickly do you want to do this, right? Depending on what we were going to put into place, what the strategy is, how quickly, what are your goals, what's going on. So it's really taking all of these details into account to really get the right strategy that works for you, that's going to be sustainable.
Amazing. And so some of the strategies involved, what would those be? When maybe I'm like, let's just say that I'm a 6-figure entrepreneur right now, and I'm mostly doing one-on-one coaching, and I might have maybe one small offer on the side. So, and I come to you and I'm like, I have one assistant and I really want to scale. I really want to get to 7 figures or multiple 6 figures this year and then 7 figures next year or whatever it is. But what would be the first step that you would tell me to take or look at my business or inside myself?
Yeah, there'll be two. To me, this is two sides of the coin. One is, how is your business running? Do we have things automated? Are we having, what's going on in the back end? Is it a hot mess? Is it on fire? Because I have been in the back end of 7-figure businesses where the whole thing is on fire, many of them. And how can we make that more efficient? And so that way you can grow and scale. So really a focus on operations and systems and how do we just really make this smooth? Because my fear is that if you scale without these things in place, then you're just growing the fire. You're just really adding fuel to the fire. So I want to get that under wraps. I really want the business to run well before we start adding in more things. And so let's say, okay, everything is good. Things are smooth on the back end. Now let's look at your offers, right? So we have the one-to-one offers. Okay, what do we want to do? What is aligned? Do we want a membership? Do we want to have group programs? Do we want to add some other done for you? Do we want to bring on co-coaches? There are 1,000 different ways that you can grow and scale. And it's really up to you, what feels good for you. And then we decide and go down that path.
So it sounds like there's not really a wrong path to go down, right? There's not like an exact blueprint or strategy that everyone needs to follow.
Listen, I will stand on my soapbox until the cows come home over this, because every strategy is the right strategy. I am, no offense to anybody, but I'm very anti-cookie cutter, step by step. This is how you do it, because that works, right? These things work, or else, because obviously the people running these things, this is how they did it, but it works for them. I have had clients in some of these cookie cutter programs, and it doesn't work for a lot of the people in the programs, because that may not be your magic. That might not be take into account the things that you're good at. So to me, it's a very individualized, very personalized, and I also have a podcast, and I talk to people who have scaled their businesses, and they all have broken every rule in the book. And they have scaled to 6 figures and beyond. So there is no one way. The right way is the way that you are committed to growing. Period. I'll get off my
I love it.
soapbox.
I love it. No, you keep standing on it, because I absolutely, just right when I hear someone say, this is the way you need to do for 2023, or this is 2024's best strategy. I'm like, the other way.
Right.
I
Right.
agree. I mean, I've seen people build, like 8-figure businesses without a website. I
Mhm.
mean, like really, or without funnels, or I mean, there's so many
Yeah,
things. So it's just
exactly. Yeah.
incredible. I love rule breakers. That's what we're doing here. We're rule breaking. I love it. That's amazing. So when someone comes to you and
Yes.
they are looking for a system, what are some of the systems that every business owner should have in place?
Ugh. There's a bunch. So definitely a client journey system, because for both when we coming to become a client and when they are become a client, we really want to wow our clients. We want to show them we love them. We want to just, I don't know, to me it's so important, because not only does it show that you care, but these when you really love on your clients and they have this amazing onboarding and they get what they need, everything works, and they have all of this attention, then they're going to refer you to other people. They're going to stay with you. They can feel the love that you put into this. I don't know about you, but when I join programs and it's underwhelming, it's disappointing. You're like, oh, I invested in this and I want it to be like, I'm so excited. And then they're like, eh. And you're like, oh, So to me, this is a very important thing, just because for the integrity, for the integrity of your business. In addition to this, a lead generation system and a tracking. So metrics are very important. What doesn't get measured doesn't get done. We don't know where what's working and what's not working unless we're looking at the numbers. What other things? So financials are, all of these things are very important. So, but for real, like the first things that we should have in place are really the client journey. And other systems are task management systems. When we're launching, let's not reinvent the wheel every time we're launching something, because this is very stressful. My best friend is ClickUp, and you can have templates, you can save them, and every time you launch, you get to reuse the same templates, and it makes life so much easier. And your team will love you, and launching doesn't have to be stressful. So there's so many things that you can do in your business that will make it so much more fun and just easier and more flowy.
Yeah.
I know I told you like 15 systems. I'm sorry, but
No,
they're all important.
I'm about to ask you deeper into this. No, it's perfect. I was just going to say, is there any, as far as the systems go, are there any that you would recommend, or that you are just like totally gung ho about?
So this is all also very dependent on what the business is and what they're doing. So I can give you an example. So let's say you're launching something, people are interested in this. We need to track who is interested, because we want to continue to talk to them and have it be in a strategic way. So having a tracker like in ClickUp or an Airtable or somewhere where we're tracking our leads and we're tracking what we talk about and when we're contacting them. And this is just a really nice way to make your lead generation and your connections, you're connecting with your clients that much easier, or your potential clients, right? Because you don't have to go and think about it and say, okay, let me go and get lost in my Instagram DMs and message all these random people. You have a system to it. So that makes life a lot easier. Other things would be, let's say, again, like an onboarding for a program. You really want to make sure that this is good, that this is welcoming, that you're really giving people what they need. They're getting the emails that they need. They can access, they're getting everything they need to really be successful in your program. For me, these are two very important things. Yeah.
I love this so much about the onboarding, because you're right. It's so important, especially when you're first starting a program, because you have that momentum, that excitement of just investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And you are really, but there's also, not always, but a lot of the times there's also that backdrop voice. It's like, shit, I hope I just made the right move. I really hope this isn't a waste of my investment and I need to go do this somewhere else. So in terms of that, how would you say, or how would you recommend people to set up an amazing, incredible onboarding
Mm.
experience for a client? What's one of some of the best things that you've seen for this?
Yeah, things like, so let's say somebody signs up. We want to make sure there's an email automation that goes out to them, and not just the one that's like, okay, you paid, yay, that really welcomes them in, that's exciting for them, or maybe they can share, or there's a graphic that they can share, which is great, good for you, good for them, exciting for everybody. Um, Perhaps it triggers a task for you to leave them a voice note on their in Instagram or somewhere, so you can actually welcome them into the program.
Good.
And maybe 2 days later, there's another email that has, or a day later, that has step by step, okay, here's what to expect. Here's where your milestones are. So just really answering all of their questions before they have a chance to even ask them. So everything is very clear as to how they're going to move through, how it's set up, et cetera, et cetera.
Amazing. And then when you finally, like, once you start working together,
Mhm.
you have obviously the client journey doesn't end there. Is
Right.
there anything else that you see that really helps businesses continue that momentum?
Yeah. So having check-ins throughout. So depending on the length of the program, right? So for instance, in one-on-one coaching, let's say somebody's with you for 4 months or 6 months, they get an email once a month asking them how they're doing, what's going on, what goals have they hit, things like that. So just a nice check-in email for them. The at the end is also really important. So I don't know if you've ever been let down, but sometimes I feel let down where it's like, okay, it's over, and then there's no finality to it. To a program, you're just like,
Absolutely.
"Okay, thanks. Like, bye."
Yes.
So,
Yes.
right? So having an email at the end that thanks you, and very important, asks for testimonials and referrals and things like this. So very important both for your business and for them, for your clients, to have this kind of like love and attention throughout, and not just at the point where they give you the money.
I love that. And so
Mhm.
when you're setting this up, would
Mhm.
you is there software that you would recommend setting this up through?
Mhm. Yeah, so generally, depending on the course platform, some of them have these emails built in. Otherwise, you can connect them. So any email platform really, that you just have these emails timed out. You might have to use Zapier to connect them to the course platform, depending on where we're at. But so either within the course platform itself, or like, let's say if it's one-on-one coaching, even in your Dubsado, you could have a workflow in Dubsado that does this as well. So these are kind of built into the different tools that people typically use.
That's the beautiful thing about having systems is you do the work once, or honestly, you should
Mhm.
have a VA who can do it for
Yes.
you. And
Yes.
especially with ChatGPT, like we've been using it like crazy people with a lot of our stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, just let them know, hey, I need these emails. And they, your assistant can do it in an hour. You go through the emails, maybe you make some changes, but
Yeah.
then everything's all set up, and you just have to worry about it once, and you can just keep beefing it up and keep
Yes.
expanding it, and keep adding love and keep adding love. And it's just going to be this incredible, at the end, it's going to be this incredible,
Mhm.
expansive momentum program. And so
Mhm.
that's what I love about these systems that you're talking about.
Yes. And speaking about having your VA or your assistant do some of these things along the lines of scaling, this is a very important way to scale, because when you're doing these things, even if you can do it, even if you love it, you're not growing your business. You're not doing anything that's moving the needle in your business if you're writing the email, or making Canva graphics. If you're doing some of these things, you, as a CEO, as a visionary, as one who wants to scale, really needs to be focusing on doing the things that move the needle in your business, and giving these other things to your team.
Absolutely, freaking lootly. Yes, 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 yes. It's like it's really some of the best feeling when you have all these like little minuscule tasks that really weigh us as visionaries down. We hate doing websites. We do not like the little tiny details, like having to do all those. And when you can pass them off to somebody else and really, like you said, like living, it's alignment still, right?
Yeah,
Because we're
yeah.
living in our aligned genius. We're living in what we do the best and what our huge superpower is. So that's such
Yes.
a, like, I love
Yeah.
how it's so connected with what you do and how you
Mhm.
run systems and how you allow those systems that masculine energy to support this feminine, because
Mm.
visionary energy is very, 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 for the most part, very, very feminine. It's,
Yes.
yeah, it's so, I love it. It's so beautiful. So I love that
But
you
you
said
get to
that.
have Yeah, and you get to have more of this feminine visionary energy when these systems get to take over the masculine part. And you
Yes.
have the space for this.
Yes.
And it's
It's
beautiful.
like it cradles you and it supports you
Mm-hmm.
and loves and nurtures your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so when you are building a team, so when you do have an assistant and you are building a team,
Mm-hmm.
how do you recommend for people to build a team that is aligned? Because visionaries, I know for myself, I have to have a team that is fully aligned with what I'm doing. If I have
Yeah.
someone that's like, sitting in a meeting and bored about what I'm talking about, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. So, or like at least not like hanging on by every word, But how do you find, or how do you recommend
Mm-hmm.
to people to find a team that is fully aligned with their mission and values?
Mm. So it comes to, so I'm going to skip forward to the answer the exact question you're asking, and it really really comes down to, are they passionate about your business and are they proactive? Because you don't want to have to lead people and tell them, okay, you have to do XYZ. You also want them to be excited and be suggesting things and all of this. So this you really can tell on a discovery call. You can see if somebody is so excited about what you do versus they're just like, yeah, I can do these things. Like, okay, yeah, great. I can do your website. Fabulous. Versus the person who's like, oh my God, I love, I love what you do and all of that. Like you can see when it's authentic and genuine. And really somebody who is going to be suggesting things. Oh, I found this broken thing. I found this link that's, telling you what they've come across or suggesting ways to make it better. So these are my very top two things to look for when you are interviewing, when you're doing your discovery calls, when you're trying to find these team members and seeing how they fit with you. And that also becomes encapsulated in assessing, if do I want to have lunch with this person? Do I want to hang out with them? Because they're on your team and you should like each other and respect each
Yeah.
other and want to hang out with each other because you're going to be spending time together. So find somebody who is really in alignment with you and you can get along with and things like that. Also equally important. And then I will add one more piece to this, which is, let's say if you are a super floaty feminine visionary, you will need somebody opposite to you to be able to bring what you're doing to life. So if you had a room full of, or a team full of these visionary, let's go with the flow, no plans, and nothing is ever going to get done. Right? So we need to have balance. We need to have balance in our team.
Absolutely. It's that book that I've read. I think it's called Traction,
Mm.
but they talk about having an integrator, like a visionary
Mm-hmm.
having. I'm sure you've heard of an integrator.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in business. Yeah. So I talk about this all the time with my clients. Is the importance, because I work with very very visionary clients, and most of them, I would say, do have some balance of being in their like having that masculine energy and structure,
Yeah.
but a lot of them do live in their feminine and make, or
Yeah.
at least want to. And so I think if you are a visionary, you really absolutely need some type of integrator to work with the details.
Yeah.
And so how would you say to go about finding an integrator? What are some of the best ways for you? Like, is it a VA or what is it?
So there's different levels and it depends on where you're at in your business. So let's say that if you are six figures and above, then we're going to say integrator, online business manager, very similar roles. And so I'm used to saying OBM. So if I say OBM, I mean the same thing. So you are six figures and above. Let's say you already have a VA or maybe a copyright, a couple of people on your team, and you need to step out of the day-to-day of your business and really just be in your CEO role of being the visionary, of making the sales, of doing the things that only you can do. This is when you need somebody, the OBM integrator, to come and manage the day-to-day. So this person is going to be your other hand. So they're going to partner with you in the strategy and in the implementation in terms of management. So creating these launch plans, managing the team. The team is going to go to them to ask the questions first before you. Amazing, right? You get to step away
Yeah.
from that.
It's amazing.
And yeah, they're going to be directing, putting the systems in place. They're going to be creating standard operating procedures, SOPs. So getting all of these things in your back end aligned to bring your vision to life and to do it in a more easeful way so it feels peaceful to you and you get to step in and doing the things that you love doing. So it's really beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And in creating standards for your business,
Uh-huh.
creating, exactly like I know my incredible integrator. She's
Mhm.
created an onboarding system, and she's created
Yep.
all these things that I just don't want to do. And just, yeah, standards for everything, video editing. If we get a new video
Uh-huh.
editor, they go through an exact process, and they know exactly what to do, and they know exactly what to
Exactly.
edit. And
Yep.
it is more work in the beginning, but it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
freaking worth it.
Yes,
It's so worth
because
it because you're just,
right. Because what happens is then your business becomes system dependent and not people dependent, and this is what we want.
mm,
Because contractors come and go, and how much easier is it to onboard somebody to your team when there are already step-by-step instructions, there's already things in place so they can just step in. They have the training there, they have things to reference, and you don't have to spend as much time training them when you have somebody. And also these things don't live inside of somebody else's head. So if they leave for some reason, if something happens to them, then you have no idea what's going on. This is what we don't want, right? We don't want to lose a team member and then your business falls apart. That's terrible. So making things system dependent is key to growing and scaling.
oh yeah, yeah. It's scary. Just like thinking about if you didn't have these systems in place, and then losing that team member, or losing the
Yeah.
like. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you have to
Mm-hmm.
start over.
Yep.
It's like, instead of intentionally deciding to burn your business to the ground, you're burning your business to the ground every single time that someone is starting over, even though you don't see it, because it's really like you have this beautiful momentum going in your business, and
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden someone quits. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
shit. I
Yeah.
I have to stop everything that I'm doing, and then I have to like pay attention to what they're doing. But really, it is so beautiful and amazing when you get a new team member and you're like, here's your portal,
Uh-huh.
go through your portal, come back
Mm-hmm.
to me. They come back to you. They're like, okay, what videos do I edit, or
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm ready. Like, they know everything, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's perfection. It's like exactly what everyone
Totally.
needs.
Totally. And I
Yeah.
find that sometimes business owners can underestimate the value of this because, right, it's not directly helping them to make sales, for instance. But it is, but not directly, right? It's not like a marketing, okay, we're gonna put this in, you're gonna make more sales, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, oh, I don't need that, I can wait for that. But this is not true. This is not at all true because this is the thing that gives you the freedom in your business to focus on the marketing and the sales and the delivery and those types of things, the speaking, the this and that, right? So having these things in the background lets you run your business and actually increases your efficiency so much. And my wish is that more business owners would appreciate that and how important it really is. So I love when my clients are, when they are so happy, like, oh, and like they actually see how much more easeful their launches are, how much more space they have, how much more energy they have. So it really is the systems and the things in the back end that give you this. So don't underestimate the power of the systems and the processes and all of that.
I love that you said this, because I have also sometimes trouble telling my clients,
Mm.
like, you need
Mhm.
systems. And they're like, yes, but I want more clients. Or
Right.
just like you said, I want more views on my videos, or I want more
Mhm.
leads in my email list. And
Mhm.
so how do you help people see how important this is? I know we've already spoke about some of it, but the deepest part of all of this, like, what are some of the incredible things that you have seen throughout this whole thing that would really help convince that
Mm.
person that knows that they probably need systems, but they haven't yet done this?
I would say that. So let me give you an example. So one of my actually first clients is this seven-figure entrepreneur who was famous in her field. And you would never know on the outside, but on the back end, literally everything was on fire. There was nothing organized, no systems anywhere. So all of her team was constantly running around trying to figure out what to do last minute. And what happens when this happens? You can't show up in your best energy because you have all this weight on your shoulders that you're carrying. Your team is quitting. You're replacing people. There's such a high turnover, and this is costing you time and money. There are mistakes happening because, oh, we forgot to send the email out to do this. Oh, this thing was broke. Oh, so there's so many little mistakes that happen that really reflect poorly on how it's not how you want to show up. There are so many missed opportunities. Like I was talking earlier about the lead generation. If you don't have a system in place for that, then you're missing out on so many potential clients in that way. So is it sexy? No. But guess what happens? You don't have to do it, first of all, which is great, right? Somebody else gets to do this for you. So you don't have to focus on the unsexy part. And then when you have everything put together, when you have these things in the back end of your business, it feels literally like a weight is lifted off of you because things are just running. People know what to do. People know when to do them. People can come and go in your business. You can go on vacation. You can go on your holiday. Things still get to run, and they are not dependent all on you. Without systems, everything is dependent on you. With systems, it is not dependent on you. You get to go do your thing, and you get to remove yourself from this minutia of the day-to-day and to really give you the space to be the creative, to be the visionary, to make the sales, to support your clients, to do these things that are the reason that you started your business in the first place, and to do it successfully.
It reminds me of that quote that, you quit your business, or you quit your job to start a business to work for yourself instead. And like it's like you're still having a job. You still have a job. It's just to someone different, or to your clients or anything like that. So it kind of reminds me of that, and us seeing some of these entrepreneurs, and you see someone that has exactly what you want. They probably have some incredible systems behind them.
Yes.
Most likely the ones with time freedom, the ones that are traveling, the ones that are really making, honestly, the biggest impact in the world. Like we look at the top entrepreneurs, they 100% have these beautiful systems in place, and they understand the importance. And I've seen the difference between, I speak with 8-figure entrepreneurs, 7-figure entrepreneurs all the time. And one of the biggest differences is they have systems, and they just show up a lot of the times when I have these, I always have 15-minute meetings before the real interview. They're the ones that have a lot of time actually to spend with me. And sometimes we go for a few of them, like one 8-figure entrepreneur went an hour and a half when it was only supposed to be 15 minutes. And it was like, I think we have these visions of what sometimes they are an 8-figure entrepreneur. They don't have any time, because how could they? Because I don't even have any time, and I'm not even making 7 figures, or I'm not even, I'm not even close to that. But it really is. It's like you have these amazing systems. You have these people that you trust also, but the biggest thing is, like, it reminds me of this documentary that I watched about McDonald's. I never eat at McDonald's, but their systems are really just incredible, the way they have set their systems, and that you don't need to hire the best employee. You have to have the best systems. So the better your systems, the less you have to rely on
the people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And it's like a safety. It's a safety net for your business and for you. It's like really how you love your business. It's how you take care of yourself in your business. It's a form of self-care.
Yeah. And your business really 100% should run without you there. And if it doesn't right now, then look at your systems. Like, look at what is happening, and you need to set up this foundation of having some type of system in place where you can leave for a month if you wanted to, because I'm about to go on maternity leave for a few months, and thankfully I have all these systems in like, yes, I had to prepare before with content, but everything is set up, everything is completely streamlined, and it just
and how do you feel? How do you feel that you get to step away and that everything will be okay?
It really is so freeing. Like, because I didn't even, this was an unplanned pregnancy. It was not, so it's one of those things where I am so grateful that I had this in place already, or at least a lot of it was already in place. Like, some of it we had to put in place, because I really am just 100% like leaving it. I told my employees, like, don't even contact me for an entire month, at least minimum a month. But after that, for a few months.
That's awesome.
It really is. It's like, it's just an amazing feeling. It really, really is, knowing that everything is running without you. And when I get back, it's not going to be everything's a shitstorm, and I'm going to have to come back to all these horrible complaints and not their employees, and like my social medias have just blown up, and I look like a total weirdo freak. So it's just it's really, really it's supporting. It feels so supportive, especially as a visionary, massively.
Yeah, and it really frees up so much brain space. And you don't have to, did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? You don't have to worry about that. My favorite are when when I set up like a Zap or something and then the task appears and then it's like you don't have to think about the next step because you're already just being told what to do, that for your team or whoever. Like this is just so nice that there is a flow and that there are instructions, that there's beautiful dashboards, that there are just things that you can look at and be like, this is how this works. For something so simple, I'll give you an example, something so simple as this, what we're doing now. Interviewing somebody on a podcast or producing a podcast, you think, oh, I just have to get them in. We have to get that, it's fine. There are 1,000 steps to
Yes.
to doing a podcast. 1,000 steps. And you need a system to do that, or else you're going to miss an interview. You're going to look unprofessional. You're not going to send the things, the assets to your guests that they need. Things are not going to be, there's not going to go. And then you're going to be, I had to send this email. Oh, I have to do that. Oh my God, no. Like we can't. My brain can't handle that, So, no. So systems for everything.
Yeah. Yes. I cannot believe honestly how many steps there are to everything. It's not like it's like, oh, it's just so funny. Really, as business owners, I think we underestimate how much time every single thing takes.
Yes.
Especially as a visionary. We're like, oh, this email launch won't take long. I love writing. And then all of a sudden it takes freaking 3 months because we also have all these other ideas that we want to, I'll just add this simple little video, but then your video editor has to edit it, and all these things. And so oh man.
I want to do a podcast. Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh my gosh. I was supposed to launch this as we're recording this episode, everyone. The podcast hasn't even officially launched. So we were supposed to launch months ago because I still gave it months to launch, but I'm a visionary. I like to do things in a way that I feel really, 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 really good about. And I'm, I want to launch with massive momentum out of the gate. So it's months later. So, it's from the launch, I keep saying we keep pushing it, but it's just funny. Everything takes so much longer. Yeah. But with those systems, it really is a huge, man, I just wish I really, it is one thing that I always stress to people. I don't think there's anyone in business. If you start a business, you need systems. Absolutely. Right away. Yeah. And that's actually the best, probably you probably would agree with this, but it's probably one of the best times to put systems in.
Oh yeah. Before you actually, oh yeah, totally. As early as possible. And they're going to change and they're going to evolve, but at least you start with something. And I find that with hiring as well, that as you put the systems in place, it makes the onboarding and hiring so much easier, especially when it's your first time or for that role. Because I see a lot of times that people wait to hire, and then finally they do it, but it's already too late in a way, because there's so much going on. Then they're like, oh, I have to go train this person. I have to tell them what to do. That person's not set up for success. Maybe it doesn't work out. You think it's their fault, but it's your fault because you didn't put in the time to actually do this. So yeah, there's a lot there, but it's all a beautiful growth journey. And don't worry, you have people in this world to support you and help you with these things. You don't have to do it all on your own.
If we are talking to someone who is in business and they don't even have an assistant, just get the assistant and get someone that would be able to start systems for you. Because me myself, I love talking about systems and I love the overview and the bird's eye view of everything that we're talking about. But if you ask me to go make a Zap for my website for some email leads, I'm like, no, I probably would hang up the phone. It's not really something I want to do. So get someone who loves doing this type of thing, or just a VA who they can literally, everything is readable on Google anymore or on YouTube. You can literally do all of this on YouTube. It's not like you need the craziest experts ever for systems in this aspect, but it's it really is going to be I am so passionate because it's changed my life and it's changed my business and it's changed my joy levels. Because you said, so important. Mental capacity, right? Yeah, you just don't realize how just having to even remember things, how much energy and time it takes. And it really, you have a responsibility to have systems in your business. You have a responsibility to have these systems in place so you can make a massive impact in the world and you can support as many people as possible with your message and with the gifts that you have, instead of dealing with all this other stuff that is, like you said, not moving the needle in your business.
It's a responsibility you have. It's so funny because,
Yeah.
I do my OBM things and I also coach. And I was showing somebody something in my ClickUp and they were laughing at me and they're like, "You're definitely an OBM." Because I have it like whenever I do something, I just automatically, I can't hide my OBM side. So I kind of laugh at myself for that. But most people are not like that. So get somebody to help you. Just get somebody to help you.
Yeah, yeah. It's everything. And so when people are trying to find that team or when they are
Mm.
scaling, what are some of the biggest obstacles or challenges, roadblocks that you find business owners come up against?
Oh, 100% they're their own roadblock, 100%. So things can't move forward without them. And they have so many things on their plate that they can't get to the thing. And then the team is waiting for them. And then they're delayed, 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 delayed. And then by the time the business owner does it, now the team has to rush and do these things last minute. So that's one. One big one is
Mm.
that they're the roadblock. Another one is doing the underestimating. We talked about this earlier, underestimating the time that it takes to do something. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm going to launch something. I'll launch it in a couple of weeks. No, we can't do that, right? We need 12 weeks, 8 weeks, at the minimum if we're going to launch something to actually do it right. So it's really difficult to do these things in a quality way when you're rushing them and you're doing them last minute. These things take longer than what we might want to admit or hope. A third thing is not having a plan, not having goals, and just kind of winging it and moving from thing to thing to thing to thing. So what are we doing? What are our goals this year, the next 6 months, the next 90 days? Like, what do we actually want to do in our business and work backwards from that? Those are
Shiny
my top
object syndrome.
three. Yeah. Yeah. Or just not
I
planning,
would
period,
imagine.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yes.
people just they don't have a tendency. A lot of people just don't have this tendency built in. They're just, oh, maybe I'll launch this whenever. But when you have to plan it out so you can backtrack because you need a couple months beforehand to get all the things together. So you need these goals to work towards, and then you get to be creative and be your visionary self within these constraints a little bit. And it
Yeah,
works out to be more. You set yourself up for success in that way.
absolutely. And it's like also I've noticed it's when you say yes to something, let's just say that you do want to do a launch. Let's just say you do want to do a launch on social media. If you say
Mhm.
yes to that, like make sure it's a full body yes, not just because some guru said, "Hey, you should
Yes.
start launching on social media because this is the way to go." But really it's
Yeah.
like, does this feel good? And when it
Uh-huh.
does, commit to it. You have to commit
Yes.
to it because
Yes.
I'm only speaking from experience for my own self. I did
Mhm.
that a lot where went this way. Wanted to do a webinar, so I only finished my webinar like 90%, and I didn't finish it. And then I go this way, and
Uh-huh.
I go that way, and it's like, and I really had to fight, and that's where the alignment comes in, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I've done it too. I've done it too. So
Yeah.
I've launched things and what's the thing you have to do? Okay, I have to do a free masterclass. I have to, right? Quote unquote, do this free
Yes.
masterclass and then promote the program. And for me, this is so energy draining. And this is just the standard thing, quote unquote. And I can't. Like I cannot. I do not have the this is just not how I'm built. So now I'm doing it differently, right? Because there is no one way to launch. There's no one way to build your business. There's no one way that you have to do anything. So do it in the way that feels good to you. And you'll know it. You'll be, okay, this feels good. You might have to experiment a little bit. That's fine. And when you find that thing, yes, full body, yes, commit to it. Okay, this feels so much better. Great. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's commit to it until we see it all the way through.
Yeah.
All the way through, because you can always
Hmm.
it's not like a do or die, like, this is how I'm gonna launch for the rest of my life.
Right.
We're always gonna keep expanding on it, but make
Hmm.
sure it feels good, and it's not just like I work with, some people that just have their yeses are so not solid. They're just not a
Mm,
full solid yes, and they're shaky. They're very
yeah.
shaky yeses, and that's really dangerous. That's really, really dangerous, and to really be fully in your power on decisions. I mean, that's another
Mm.
podcast within itself, like,
Right.
making sure
Yeah.
yeah, really, a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff that we're talking about is but, yeah, just being really, like, in your power when you're making decisions
Mhm.
and deciding what
Mhm.
way and what direction you wanna go.
I think also along the same lines is not just is it a full body yes, or if it's shaky, why is it shaky? Is it just
Ah,
because there's some imposter syndrome happening? Okay, we can deal with that. Or is it something else? So really feeling into that and saying, okay, why does this not feel right to me? Because it really could be something that is, like I said, an imposter syndrome mindset type of a thing coming in as well.
Oh, I love that you said that. We know what that shakiness feels like because we've all
Yeah.
experienced it. And
Yeah.
so really like being with that shakiness before you go on to something else, be like, oh, it feels shaky, so I'm going to go somewhere else. So really, yeah, you're right. I mean, this is digging into those emotions and yeah, why is this shaky? What is going on? What is going on? Inner work, you guys. So, yeah. So Andrea, so based on your experience of everything,
Mhm.
like all the businesses that you've been working with and everything that you've been doing inside of your business as far as scaling goes,
Mhm.
what do you see as some of the future trends taking place in the business world?
Mm. It is all about authentic connection. To me, this is the most important thing. Gone are the days of let's just do this impersonal webinar and 5,000 people will sign up unless you're some big guru out there. And it is a lot more connection based, both before when you're talking to people, and then when they're in your program as well. So people want more, they expect more. And to me, this is a really good thing. So you really need to have a good quality. You need to care about what you're doing. And this kind of scared people, I think, a little bit, but to me this is good because that means that those of us who are here, I'm sure all of your audience are these aligned, beautiful people. So they should be excited about this because they get to show up and they get to do what they love doing and just connect more. People are taking a little bit longer to invest, but fine because they want to make sure it's the right thing for them. So they're more committed to it. So yes, connect, authentically and just be yourself and really, really value these relationships.
I love that. You're 100% right where it's actually going to benefit our type of audience and our type of clients, just empaths, visionaries,
Yeah.
people that are already incredible at doing this. And it hasn't been top of mind or it hasn't been so important until now.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
I really see this massive shift in business, like massive, more than ever before. And I think it's only
Yeah.
getting exponentially bigger and bigger. And so it's
Yeah.
really, for me, it's really exciting because like that's where I thrive as well, is that relationship building and
Uh-huh.
just like that authenticity being just, yeah, and helping people do the same thing. And so I think
Yeah.
it's going to be really, really powerful, and how emotions are going to be even more powerful as well moving forward,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
emotional intelligence,
Uh-huh.
really.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So I love that. And then
Mhm.
is there any question that you wish I said, or is there anything else that you would like to say that you
My
wish I asked?
God. This is a job interview question, I feel like. It's so funny. Oh, I'm
Tell me
being
more about
tested.
yourself. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Yeah.
I I think that what else do I want to say? I think that we have covered so much. We have covered so much, and I don't want people to be scared. I think and be like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, my business is going to fall apart. I don't have these systems. I don't have the right team, etc." No.
Yeah.
One thing at a time, take a deep breath. Everything will be okay. One step at a time. And if you have questions about what to focus on, reach out to somebody. There are people who will help you determine what the best path forward is for you. So don't feel like you have to have all the systems, this big team, have, to expand and scale this infinite amount. No, like just take a breath and it'll be okay.
I love it. One step at a time, you guys.
One
Really, just
step
one
at
step
a
in front of the
time.
other.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
we're doing too. Like we're all doing
Mhm.
it. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's great. And then, what are 3 books that you could recommend to my audience?
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna be real nerdy over here and recommend
Yes.
systemology because systemology, especially if you don't know about systems, if you're new to it, then that's going to really help you to get the basics and get this overview of it. It's really well written and easy to follow. Um, I would also recommend something on mindset. Now I have to look. This was a hold on. I
Love it.
wasn't
Love
prepared
it.
for
This
this
is gonna be
question.
really juicy then.
Let me see what I have in here. Because I've read so many. Oh, there's a really good book. I recommend on mindset this book called Mindset: Changing the Way You Think to Fulfill Your Potential. So it is
Ooh.
by Carol Dweck, and really good mindset book.
I don't think I've read that one. Okay.
Mm. And then the last one I would recommend is an old classic oldie but goodie, but it's The Big Leap. I love The Big Leap. It's just so inspirational, and it's just like, you can do this thing. And I don't know, I just love it. So if you're like, oh, you're kind of at, no matter what level you're at in business, there's always another precipice. There's always another level. There's always things happening. So I think it's a nice book to remind you that you can do this.
I just bought that book. So it's with the goldfish tank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Just bought it.
Mhm.
Amazing. So I guess that's a sign. I need to read that one first. Writing
It's
it down.
so good. Yeah. Do it on your maternity leave. You'll be great.
Yeah. Yes. Between my naps and the feedings and all that good stuff.
Yeah. When you're up in the
I will
middle
need
of the night
something.
feeding the baby, right? You can read these books.
That's true. I will need something to do. Yes. Amazing. And so where can people find you?
Please come and hang out with me. I would love to chat with you on all the social medias. My handle is at Soulful Biz Coach Andrea. Hang out mostly on Instagram. That's kind of my place to hang out. And I have some fun scaling resources as well on my website, dancingleafsolutions.com/resources.
Amazing. And then do you have a free gift for the audience as well?
So on the resources page, there are a couple of different scaling resources there. So there is one that's really kind of digging into the systems and things like that. And then I have a very cool resource that is the 7 mistakes that solopreneurs make and what to do instead.
Ooh, that sounds good. All right. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. This was such a wonderful conversation. And actually, you guys didn't hear it. The internet went out, and we came back, and I was like, wow, this is such a fun interview. It happened like 10 minutes ago, but I was like, this is just amazing. And I am very, as you guys can hear, I'm very, very passionate about systems and having the right systems in place, and how it really does. It's just impacted my life so much. And so you have given us so much to think about, and so much to really just take away an actionable step. There's so many actionable steps. So my goodness, I couldn't imagine this being an episode where you only listen to one time if you really want to get a lot out of it. So thank you so much, Andrea. And we'll leave all of her links down below, you guys, in the show notes. But yes, thank you so much, Andrea. And I can't wait to talk to you again.
Drea. Yeah, I know. Thank you so much, guys. We're BFFs now, just so you know. So you'll see us.
Yes, absolutely. You'll see her name in my comments on Instagram or like other places.
Exactly.
Amazing. I love it. Those are the best.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, Andrea.
And with that, we come to the close of yet another epic journey of the Aligned Empire podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the frequency of your limitless potential. Each episode is a code to unlock your unique energetic frequencies of money, business, and your aligned empire. If you feel this episode would resonate with others, please share it forward, creating a ripple effect throughout the universe. Make sure to subscribe to continue this journey of transformation with us. Join us again next week as we continue to rise together, joining a movement that is changing the world. This is Drea Brown, your guide on this journey, signing off.